It's been an overcast 58-degree day here in Southern California as TNT's playoff coverage continues. We welcome you to Staples Center in downtown LA. Tonight it is Game 2 of the best of 7 Western Conference Finals. The defending NBA champion San Antonio Spurs seek to bounce back against Kobe Bryant and his Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers coming off the furious comeback from 20 down to pull off that dramatic win in Game 1. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert along with Doug Collins. We'll be joined in a moment by our sideline reporter Craig Sager. Tim Duncan and his Spurs looking to bounce back from that crushing loss in Game 1 Wednesday night. Duncan with a stellar opening game, 30 points, 18 rebounds, 4 block shots as we check out the McDonald's starting lineups. Up front along with Duncan, it's Bruce Bowen and Fabricio Oberto. At the guards, Tony Parker and Michael Finley. Finley back as a starter with Manu Ginobili to come off the bench. Greg Popovich telling us he's looking to Ginobili to provide a lift with the second unit. And for the Lakers, Kobe Bryant, who figures to be somewhat more assertive in the first half in the backcourt with Derek Fisher. Derek looking to turn it from the 1 for 9 on the front line. It's Lamar Odom, Vladimir Radmanovic, and Pau Gasol. And we're ready to go. The officials, Bennett Salvatore working with Ken Mauer and Tony Brothers. It'll be Duncan and Gasol. And the lights just went out. Not a good sign. And the lighting here, it should be pointed out, is usually among the best in the league. It is truly Hollywood style. All right, let's see if the lights stay on. That was quite dramatic, I thought. Lakers control. The ball in the hands of Lamar Odom. Bryant played by Bowen. Gasol guarded by Duncan. Odom being watched by Oberto. Here's the spin, and he's able to take it to the bucket. Lamar Odom not able to get going. The other night, just 3 of 12 from the field.
Well, Phil Jackson told us before the game that he was going to go to him early, get that drive going to the basket. The other night, he was looking for too many fouls. He talked about looking to create contact rather than finishing his shots.
Duncan with a driving hook. Rebound swept by Odom. And the Lakers looking to get off to a better start than what we saw the other night. That counts in the foul. Derek Fisher taking to the rim. He got the step, and he's headed to the line.
Well, these are the two guys now, Marv, that were 4 for 21 the other night in Game 1. Struggled, and here they are both with terrific starts. Derek Fisher so strong and so powerful. So you see Phil Jackson's game plan go to his 2 veteran guys here early in the game, and they both start out with layups, Marv. And when you are a guy who struggled in a game before, you love to see those easy baskets early.
And Doug, for the Spurs in Game 1, a very difficult loss, blowing that 20-point lead. They let it get away. The question is, how will the Spurs react to such a disheartening defeat?
Now, Greg Popovich said we're going to have to show tremendous mental toughness because, like in his words, it was a crushing game that you have to try to put behind you. That's what their experience hopefully will do as Parker misses the jump shot.
Kobe Bryant in the first half in Game 1, attempting only 3 shots. 1 for 3 from the field, and then came on strong in the second half. Gasol has to give it back. Odom just looking to get out of the paint. Gasol and Duncan able to reach forward.
I think the Spurs would like to push the ball a little bit more tonight. They got very stagnant, get some early offense, Marv. They didn't get any easy baskets the other night. They've got to find some easy scores against this Laker defense that's very underrated.
A Laker team that during the playoffs is averaging 112 per game. Tim Duncan with a nice spin move, and Duncan able to get off in the first half in Game 1. Finishing up, as we mentioned, with the 30 points, control the boards. Bowen able to stay with Bryant, who's able now to hit over Oberto.
Well, Marv, you talked about it. Kobe was not going to wait as long as he did the other night. His team got down by 20. Very fortunate he could dig out of that hole with his team. Tonight he's going to look to be a little bit more aggressive early for his shot.
Oberto off the good look from Duncan. Lakers with a 7-4 lead. We're just underway. Game 2 of this best-of-7 Western Conference Final. The scene will shift to San Antonio for games 3 and 4, and the entire Western Conference Final will be seen exclusively here on TNT. Gasol, and the rebound is handled by Finley. Michael Finley the other night, 0 for 5 from the field, all 5 attempts from three-point range.
And 4 of those in the fourth quarter when nobody could find a basket for the San Antonio Spurs.
In fact, the Spurs just 3 for 21 in that fourth quarter. Duncan on the follow.
No rotation that time on the weak side by Vlade Romanovic. Remember now, Vlade Romanovic got off to a wonderful start the other night, 5 of 5. All of his field goals came in that first quarter.
And then did not attempt another shot the rest of the way. Romanovic, well, true to form, that's his first bucket. Spurs not getting any stops here at the start. It's a 9-6 lead for the Lakers. Beautiful move by Parker. Rebounded by Romanovic. Fisher got the step again, and Finley called for the foul.
Well, Michael Finley just does not have that lateral movement that he had as a younger player, and Derek Fisher recognizing that. What happens with Tony Parker in many instances, Marv, is when he drives to the basket, he falls down. And so he's underneath the basket, and now all of a sudden somebody's trying to pick up the point guard. In that situation, it was Michael Finley, and Fisher had the advantage and is going to get to the foul line.
And Fisher has come out in aggressive fashion. So Derek with point number 4. Let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig.
Well, Marv, you mentioned that the lights flickered just as we had the opening tip. You also complimented the Lakers on their Hollywood lights here. In fact, this is the only arena that has that type of system. It was installed 2 years ago, an incandescent light system. If this would have been any other arena or even a Clippers game, they would have had to turn the lights off for 15 minutes as they cooled down and then came up. But with these lighting systems, they can turn it right back on. It's one of a kind.
Well, we could have had a problem. Super Hugo, the Hornet mascot, is not even in the building. Lakers up 11-6 with 4 minutes gone by in the first. Parker protecting the ball. Beautiful move. He's able to go glass.
Oh, he's so good at getting his body into the shot blocker, Marv. That's what you want to do so the guy cannot jump, and then you get that little floater at the basket.
Bryant. Oh, he went glass. That's not his intention. Little pump-a-shot maneuver by Kobe Bryant.
Well, Lakers in a much better rhythm tonight offensively, and I thought that Kobe passed up some shots in the first half. Phil Jackson said he thought he passed up about 5 and got his team out of rhythm in that first half.
Lakers have hit 5 of the first 7 from the field. Duncan. Odom is on it. Lakers playing at a much faster clip than we saw the other night in the first half. Romanovic cannot hit the 3. Duncan able to outrace Odom, and he's trapped but gets it ahead to Parker.
A nice job, though. He forced the pass to be made at a slower tempo, and they were able to get back defensively.
Fisher took it away from Parker. There's Fisher going all the way. Trying to draw the foul, does a somersault along the baseline. It's a 5-on-4 for San Antonio. Finley from downtown.
Well, that's why he's in the game, and that time it was Derek Fisher that fell down, and now the San Antonio Spurs had numbers, and that's what Greg Popovich was hoping for, that Finley would get some of those shots early in the game and then maybe be able to make them later.
Bryant for 3, way off. And Parker lets it go. Well, we're just about at the halfway mark of the first quarter, and Greg Popovich will send on Manu Ginobili for Michael Finley. So Finley hits a 3, but he'll head to the bench.
Well, I think you've seen Greg Popovich do this through the years. Anytime he feels like the team needs a change, either he moves Ginobili in the starting lineup or he moves him to the bench. He's hoping to create some energy and some bench scoring to a bench that was very anemic the other night, having only 11 points.
Manu just 3 of 13 from the field in game 1, and as you had mentioned, Doug, looked to be worn down. He's playing with that ankle injury. Foul on Gasol, and that'll put Duncan at the line. Hey, you can log on to TNT Overtime on NBA.com and vote each quarter for the Spur and Laker players that you want to watch side by side in a unique internet and television experience exclusive to TNT Overtime and NBA.com. Getting back to Manu Ginobili along with that jam left ankle in the series against the Hornets. He ripped a nail on his finger on his shooting hand and has an acrylic cover over it to protect it.
You know, Mark, we were talking at the production meeting this morning. I said he sort of reminds me of an electric car. He goes as long as he can go, and then he just runs out of juice, and you got to park it and plug it in and recharge the batteries. And I think they're hoping that tonight, with an extra day's rest, that he's been able to maybe recharge those batteries. I think he's the guy that makes the team special. When he is playing well, they play well.
I know you're spending a lot of time with the grandkids.
Yes, I do.
Odom. Offensive foul, says Bennett Salvatore.
This is a little bit what he did the other night when he was talking about trying to create contact. You know, trust that little medium-range jump shot off the glass. Oberto is just waiting for him there, and he takes the offensive foul. Odom's got to trust that little medium-range jump shot.
Ginobili is wide open for three. Rebounded by Odom. Here comes Fisher again, puts the speed on and scores. Well, Derek Fisher has come out all fired up. He now has 7 points.
Well, when you play the Lakers, you better get back. Transition defense. It's like a little fake timeout here. Now Tony Parker finally takes it. But the Lakers are a quick-hitting team, Marv. It's just not the rhythm of the triangle offense anymore. They look for early offense. They got good speed and quickness. Kobe Bryant here off the glass. He's off to a good start, as is Fisher and Odom, and the Lakers in a good rhythm up 4.
The 2008 Western Conference Finals on TNT, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines, you're free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today. By Ford, Drive One. By T-Mobile, the official telecommunications partner of the NBA. T-Mobile, stick together. And by Budweiser. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager.
A look from high atop Staples Center here in Los Angeles. And tonight, the Lakers and the Spurs in Game 2 of the best of 7 as we check out Collins Keys, presented by Heineken Light.
Well, San Antonio, they had like the same script, but with a different ending. They were outscored 44-20 that last 17-plus minutes. 6 for 30 field goals. Ginobili, an energy surge. Can he bring that tonight? They so feed off of it. And the Los Angeles Lakers, Kobe, feel the game. That's what he talked about doing the other night, where he had the huge second half, 25 points. And then Odom and a Fisher, a bounce-back game. We've already seen that tonight. 2 for Odom, the first basket of the game. 7 for Fisher, so they already have 9 points, 12 in Game 1.
And in the first half, on Wednesday night, Fisher and Bryant a combined 1 for 7 for just 2 points. And that bucket by Kobe came late in the first half.
The Spurs, number 25,
Robert Horry has come on, the one-time Laker. Greg Popovich telling us that he will go to Horry early and may stay with him much longer than we have seen Robert in this postseason run. Horry sets up down low against Gasol. Shot clock to 3. And Parker lost it. Not a good sequence by the Spurs.
Well, you can see the Lakers are trying to keep Parker out of that lane. They're pushing him down the sideline and then looking to trap him.
As Odom makes his move, foul is called. It was on Horry, a blocking foul.
You know, Marv, a lot of times, you know, with a screen and roll defense, you'll push the ball down to the baseline. It's sort of what I call corral it. Well, with Parker and Ginobili, when they push it down that way, they're looking to trap it and make that then a tough pass for him to make down and out of that corner. That time the ball slipped out of his hands. And Marv, you talked about Robert Horry, only 5 minutes really in Game 1. And what he gives you is great spacing. If he can make that shot, then he gives those guys, when they drive to the basket, that big man can't be back in the lane to help as much. It also helps Duncan in the post. This is that pick and roll defense. Now watch Gasol here. They're going to shove this down baseline, and watch him go. He stays aggressively in the trap. The Lakers then basically zone the play up. That time the ball slipped out of his hands, but you see they're trying to take away any passing lanes and keep Tony Parker out of the middle of the floor where he does so much damage.
Lakers up by 6. A Laker team that has won 9 of 11 in the postseason. They swept Denver, beat Utah in 6, followed by the Game 1 win over San Antonio. They are 6-0 at home here in LA in the playoffs and have not lost at home since March the 28th. Bowen for 3. So Bruce Bowen once again gets that open look from the corner and is able to cash in.
Well, that's why you have shooters on the floor. You got both weak side guys can shoot the ball. The Lakers trap the post. Somebody's going to be open.
And Bowen had a good shooting game the other night, 5 of 8 from the field. Good job by the Spurs. Bryant lost it. Bowen hit the deck. Helped up by Ori. Looks like he took a shot to the chin.
Well, when you play Kobe, he's going to dish out some punishment. Michael Jordan was the same way. Looked like he got an elbow to the chin inadvertently, but Kobe's going to punish you. Yeah, right there as the ball slips out of his hands, and Phil Jackson affectionately calls him Edward Scissorhands.
Yes, Kobe has a different point of view about being played by Bowen because of Bowen's aggressive style of hands-on defense. That's a tie-up jump ball. And now Jacques Vaughn will check in. Greg Popovich telling us that he would go to Vaughn in the first half. Wants to provide more rest for Tony Parker.
Yeah, he's sort of kicking himself when he talked to us before the game. He said, you know, we had that 20-point lead in the third quarter, and I should have got Tony a little rest. The Lakers started that run. I left him on the floor, and he said, I thought he got a little tired in the fourth quarter. So he's hoping Jacques Vaughn can limit some of the load of the minutes for Tony Parker, and he'll be fresher in the fourth quarter. Same with Ginobili and Duncan. We'll see, Marv, if the Spurs stay close enough to where that will make a difference in the fourth period.
So another jump ball called by the outside official Ken Mauer, controlled by Bryant. Beautiful pass, and then Odom tried to get it to Gasol.
It's overpassing. I always said when you catch the ball in there, you're a shooter, Marv. You catch the ball in the lane, it's too much of a congested quarters to try to pass.
Ginobili attempting another 3. Nice box out by Odom. Just under 4 to play in this first quarter. Odom. Gasol is there for the rebound, but a foul. Loose ball foul on the Lakers. It's on Gasol.
If we watch Lamar Odom all on his drives, I call it broad jumping. He's jumping and laying himself out at the basket rather than high jumping, rather than get great lift. So he's laying himself out at the basket. He's got to go up strong and not lay himself out there at the rim. He's missing a lot of easy shots.
For Pau Gasol, a second foul takes a seat, and Ronny Turiaf replaces Gasol. Turiaf defending on Duncan with help. You see Radmanovic coming over, going for the ball. They try to trap him. Vaughn hesitates and then takes the shot.
It's a little bit like Rajon Rondo for Boston. When he's on the floor, they're going to make him make jump shots. So he's got to be prepared and ready to shoot the ball. He's worked very hard on his shooting to make those open shots.
Odom twisting his way. Nice job by Duncan coming over on the help defense. The Laker lead is now 1 with 3 minutes left in this first quarter. Marv Albert, Doug Collins, Craig Sager from Los Angeles. And the call is away from the ball. It is against the Lakers. Looks to be Turiaf. And now a timeout is taken. Just under 3 to go in this first quarter. Jacques Vaughn measuring and then hits. It is time now for the Gatorade Around the Cooler Report. Here's Craig Sager. Craig.
Well, Marv, Kobe Bryant has 4 points already in the first quarter, twice as many as he had in the entire first half of Game 1. But Kobe stepped up his game in the second half. Now, it may have been the shoes. In the first half, he wore his Olympic defensive stopper jump-over car shoes. He played good defense, but was only 1 for 3 on the offensive end. But in the second half, he switched to his Black Mamba. Kobe says the Black Mamba can strike with 99% accuracy at maximum speed and rapid succession, and that's the type of basketball precision he wanted in the second half. Tonight, he is starting out with a Black Mamba.
You know, Doug, it doesn't get any better than when Craig brings props with him.
And especially shoes, because who knows shoes better than Craig Sager?
Exactly. Lakers up by 1 with just under 3 minutes to play in this first quarter. Sasha Vujacic has come out. He played very well the other night, particularly in defending against Ginobili, but a foul is called. 4th team foul on the Lakers, and it's on Vujacic.
You know, we were talking to Phil before the game. I said, Phil, do you think that Vujacic's personality bothers Ginobili? And he goes, that's why I put him on him. And I said, so it's like one irritant to the next kind of thing. He says, exactly right. So let's watch that matchup. Vujacic wants that challenge and did a good job the other night with it.
And in effect, two guys who just like to annoy each other.
Exactly right.
Bowen stepped out of bounds, so the ball back to the Lakers. Jordan Farmar has also checked in, so it's a backcourt now of Farmar and Vujacic. And Farmar, who had struggled with the shot against the Jazz, 2 for 5, 8 points, played well in game 1. Turiaf up front with Odom and Bryant. Nice pass, Bryant from Turiaf.
That's a great look by Turiaf. He brings so much energy off that bench. He loves the challenge of trying to play Duncan, although he's undersized. During the season, he's blocked a couple shots, so Duncan is aware of that when he dribbles in that post.
Turiaf at about 6'9", and providing problems here for Duncan, who went to the crossover. Rebound Ori. Ginobili missed a couple from downtown. Kicks it out to Ori, shoots for 2 and way off. Turiaf looking to pick off Bowen. Odom lost it. And the question is, was it last touch by Ginobili? Yes, it was.
This last Robert Horry miss, Marv. I'm not sure if he was trying to shoot it in or bank it. It was almost like he was somewhere in between, and that was an ugly shot right there. That was going to hit the corner of the board.
That is batted out of bounds by Bowen. Here's Fabricio Oberto coming back, and he'll come on for Duncan. Leads with 4 points, 4 rebounds. Both coaches doing lots of shuffling here in the first quarter, as they did the other night. Here is Bryant, rebounded by Ginobili. Kobe 3 of 5 here at the start.
And that's exactly what Bowen wants to do. He wants to force him on the floor, keep his body in front of him, and make him a jump shooter, not let him get in the paint and get to the foul line.
Well, Ori not discouraged by that last shot, fired up a 3.
My kind of guy. Missed the next one, can't wait to shoot the second one.
Here's Bryant. In contrast to what took place in game 1, where he did not hit his first field goal until the final minute of the first half, he has come out shooting. Bowen. Good box out by Turiaf, then recovered. Here's Vujacic. Oh, Bowen picks off the pass.
Ginobili's going to have to get busy with this group on the floor. They have no other scorers. So Ginobili's going to have to look for his offense. You've got Robert Horry, who's going to spot up and look for his shot. He and Bowen. But Jock Vaughn's really not a scorer, neither is Oberto. So Ginobili's got to get to work here with this group.
Shot clock to 7. Vaughn for 3.
What happens when you get a lineup out there that you don't have the shooters? The ball always finds the guy who's not the high percentage shooter. That's not by accident, Marv. That's by the work that these coaches do. When they prepare their teams, they know where they can help, who they want to help off of, and that's why a series becomes so interesting. You force a team to try to play to its weakness.
There are reasons that certain players are wide open.
Exactly.
On a regular basis. And now Tony Parker is looking to check back in. And let's see, now Finley will come on for Ori.
See, the Lakers have gone to a small lineup, so Michael Finley's out there to match up against Romanovich.
Parker was called back. He was at the scorer's table. It's a 4-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. This first quarter coming to a close. Lakers in possession. They lead by 5. Farmar. Bryant lost it. Vaughn diving for it. And a timeout is called by Vaughn with 6.2 left in the first quarter.
Oh, nice job that time by Bruce Bowen. He had to sort of help on that screen and then get back to Kobe. And once again, those active hands that we have talked about with Bruce Bowen knocked that ball loose and helped his team there get a possession.
Doug, we were talking a moment ago about Phil Jackson referring to Bruce Bowen as Edward Scissorhands because of Bowen's aggressive style of the hands-on defense. Well, our graphic designer extraordinaire from inside the NBA, Alex Hubers, has come up with his version of Bruce Bowen / Edward Scissorhands.
You know, Marv, I showed this to him before game one. I said, Bruce, I've got something for you. Come over. Yeah. He looked at the monitor and watch his reaction to this. Watch him look at this. This is, I mean, he loved this. He laughed for about 2 minutes. Loved Edward Scissorhands.
Bruce apparently enjoying Alex's artwork.
Well, those guys do a great job in the studio, don't they? They are so good.
Down to 6.2 to go in this first quarter. Lakers with a 21-16 lead. Jacques Vaughn off that scramble for the loose ball, taking a timeout. So San Antonio will put it in play in their backcourt.
Marv, after a 27-point first quarter in game one, the Spurs struggled to get 85 points. Tonight they have 16. So, I mean, it's going to be a struggle for them to score in this series. Their defense is going to have to be tremendous.
All right, here comes Ginobili. Met by the trap. Traveling violation. Good job by the combination of Vujacic and Radmanovic.
See the trap, they're coming over to give help, and that's a good call. Manu did shuffle those feet. So now the Lakers are going to get it back. And let's see if, is Kobe Bryant resting here? Yeah, he's being out of the game here. So the shot obviously will not be run for him.
Pau Gasol has come on, as has Luke Walton for the first time. And now the Spurs will go with Kurt Thomas.
Watch Gasol on this play. Phil's got to play. He likes to throw it up here right to Gasol.
Walton will inbound. Here's Farmar, and the foul is given. They had a foul to give. Vaughn was able to chase down Farmar.
There's still plenty of time, though. 1.5 seconds. I mean, you can get a catch, a dribble, and a shot in that period of time. So the Lakers still in a position here. If they execute this play, they can get a good shot.
And Walton again throws in, and Vujacic lost the handle. So that is the end of the first quarter. The Lakers with a 21-16 lead over the Spurs. Bryant, 4 of 6 from the field, 8 points. Fast start for Fisher. He has 7. Tim Duncan, 4 points, 4 rebounds. Craig Sager with Greg Popovich when we return. Back in Los Angeles, time for the Coach's Corner presented by the Closer on TNT. Let's go to Craig Sager with Spurs head coach Greg Popovich.
Well, Coach, 21-16. I know you don't want to get into a shootout with the Lakers, but where do you have to get more offense from in the second quarter?
Well, from anybody. I don't care who it comes from. We need more, though.
It usually comes from Manu Ginobili off the bench. We've not seen that spark tonight. How limited is he because of that jammed ankle?
Well, let's just say he's not Manu.
Well, Manu played 6.5 minutes in the first quarter, missed both shots, both three-point attempts. How about the Spurs without a point the last 3 minutes, 20 seconds, and dug only 2 points in the last 4 minutes, 45 seconds.
Well, Marv, they're playing great defense. They forced 6 turnovers in the last 6 minutes of that quarter, but the Spurs have no points off those turnovers. So you've got to start having your defense create some offense. Remember, I talked about easy scores, and the Spurs aren't finding any of those right now.
San Antonio just 7 of 21 from the field in the first quarter. Michael Finley with his second field goal.
See, I like this lineup here with Parker, Ginobili at the guards, and Finley at the small forward. With Ori, they've got a good shooting group out there and a chance, I think, to score some points against his second unit.
Walton gets inside. Kobe Bryant sitting it out, getting a rest. He opened up, hitting 4 of 6 from the field, 8 points. Parker is turned back and fouled, so Parker will head to the line. Foul on Walton.
I've always said when you play the Lakers and Kobe goes out of the game, and you see Kobe over there resting now and Derek Fisher, you've got to take advantage of him resting. You've got to try to make a little push here. And let's see if the Spurs can do that. The Lakers were able to make a run, actually, when their bench came in the second quarter of Game 1.
San Antonio's missed all 3 of its free throws. National coverage of the NBA playoffs continues tomorrow on ABC. Game 3 between the Celtics and the Pistons, starting at 8 o'clock Eastern time. That series all even at 1. Sunday here on TNT, Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals between these Lakers and Spurs, starting at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And then Monday on ESPN as Parker comes up with a steal and takes it the distance. How dare the game interrupt a promotional announcement. Monday on ESPN, it's Game 4 of the Celtics and Pistons, starting at 7:30 Eastern time.
Well, finally 2 points off a steal and a turnover there. That's what the Spurs have to do.
Vujacic. Sasha Vujacic, who has had an outstanding season out of Slovenia. First-round draft pick. Back in 2004, played in Italy for 3 years. It's his 4th season in the NBA. Ginobili not able to hit, and it's deflected out last touch by Vujacic.
Well, the improvement of Vujacic, he's always been a guy who's been very streaky offensively. But Marv, the reason he's playing now is because his teammates trust him defensively. I heard Kobe speaking about it after the game the other night, that his improvement defensively has really enabled him to help them play in a game like this against Ginobili. There it is right there.
The irritant involved with the irritant, and Ginobili called for the foul, and we say that with great effect.
Absolutely, and you see he has the speed and quickness and the size to stay up with Manu Ginobili, especially Manu, who is struggling with that jammed ankle.
Lakers have a 25-21 lead. Walton rebounded by Alberto. Ginobili met by the double momentarily. Little give and go, and Ginobili pops it back out for Parker. Horry, he's been off.
Yeah, he's not been close. It's not the same Robert Horry, obviously, that used to knock down all those open jump shots. Age, it's taken its toll.
Farmar, Odom gets inside, and a foul. Let's check it with Craig.
Well, Marv, just a second ago, we saw Sasha Vujacic draw that offensive foul against Manu Ginobili. He actually thought he drew one against Bruce Bowen in Game 1. Bowen at the bottom of the screen catches Vujacic with the forearm and the elbow. He went down. The Lakers thought a flagrant foul should have been called. The tape was sent to the Senior Vice President of Basketball Operations, Stu Jackson, New York. I talked to him tonight. He said the officials missed the call. It should have been a foul, but he did not feel that it warranted a flagrant or a fine. But Bowen also had 5 fouls in that game. That could have been a costly addition, because obviously he has to guard Kobe Bryant, and he had to come out with the 4th and then the 5th foul later in the game.
All right, thanks, Craig. That was point number 5 for Odom. The foul by Alberto, who will sit down, and Tim Duncan makes his return.
Well, just to follow up on Craig's report, the importance of Bruce Bowen to play against Kobe Bryant. When Bruce Bowen picked up his 3rd foul the other day, they were 20 points ahead. Kobe scored 23 of his 27 points after that happened. So that's the importance of keeping Bowen on the floor to try to keep him somewhat under wraps.
5-point lead for the Lakers. We're early second quarter. Lakers continue to do a nice job against Parker, and a defensive 3-second violation is called.
Marv, they're cutting off the floor. They're keeping the Spurs guards on the side of the floor, and when you do that and don't let them get in the middle, then you don't get that penetrating kick game, those open threes on the weak side of the floor. So the Lakers have done a nice job with Parker and Ginobili, especially after the first half of Game 1. I thought in Game 1 Parker was terrific in the first half. He had 12 points and really controlled the tempo of that game. Struggled in the second half, had only 6 points, and he and Ginobili were 0 for 7 in that decisive 4th quarter.
Parker and Finley down in the backcourt. Duncan, Horry, and Ime Udoka up front. Udoka coming on for the first time. Did not play well in Game 1 after a terrific series against the Hornets, but opens up by hitting the 3.
You know, it's so important for those guys coming off the bench to make shots. It just helps their confidence. Oh, my! Woo.
Luke Walton with the lob that is put down by Lamar Odom. 3-point Laker lead, 3 minutes in. Second quarter. Here's Finley. Duncan reaching for it and a foul. And it's Salvatore, the outside official, calling the foul on Churiaf, and that leads to a timeout. There's the lob from Walton to Odom. Usually you see Bryant working that with Gasol, and Kobe saying, nice job.
Let's do our work, guys. Let's go home with a win. 1, 2, 3. Defense. Everybody loosen up a little bit. Everybody looks like a little tight, Remember, don't play in the crowd. We did a pretty good job penetrating and kicking. Let's keep that up.
Greg Popovich looking to give confidence to his team following the loss in game 1. He felt that the Spurs made a host of poor decisions. The ball just stopped moving. Jacques Vaughn saying after the game he felt that San Antonio lost its composure, which was surprising because of the experience on this ball club going up against a relatively young Laker team.
And Manu Ginobili said we looked slow at the end of that game. He said we were not. There's a bad play here right out of the timeout. Greg Popovich says don't play in a crowd, and they come out and throw the ball in the crowd on the first possession. It's not a good play.
Kobe Bryant back on the floor. Famar and Vujicic remain in the backcourt. Bryant up front with Gasol. And Walton. Here's Udoka coming over to help on Bryant. Gives it up. Walton shoots a 3. Rebounded by Duncan.
See, Brent Berry's on the floor right now with Ginobili struggling and Robert Horry being 0 of 6 or 0 for 4 from 3, looking for someone maybe to make a shot here for his team.
Ime Udoka able to connect on his first attempt just a moment ago, and that was from 3-point land. Barry kicks it right back for Finley. Just to beat the shot clock. Here comes Famar. Lakers on the run. Famar all the way. Jordan Famar, second-year player out of UCLA, who has had a very strong season. Did not play well, as we touched on earlier in the series against Utah. Could not find the touch. Parker right back. And that's the first clear penetration we've seen for Tony Parker.
Well, instead of doing it off the screen roll, they're trying to get movement. We've talked about how well the Lakers have played all those screen rolls. That time, just get some movement and some cutting.
Famar showing his confidence, attempting that 3-point shot. Parker, Udoka from downtown, way off. And Gasol is on it.
That 3-point shooting is so important to the Spurs. They were 5 for 20 in game 1. Tonight now 3 of 10.
And this after shooting very well from 3-point range against the Hornets last couple of games. Bryant not able to connect. Here comes Barry with Vujicic back. Udoka rejected from behind by Famar. Gasol, Udoka with the rebound.
I think Udoka felt like he was all alone there, did not hear the footsteps from behind. You've got to go up and dunk that basketball. We saw Luke Walton make that same play against Utah, and Darren Williams had a spectacular block. Excuse me, no, it was Ronnie Price had the spectacular block in that game.
Shot clock down at 3. Parker cannot hit, and the Spurs are having their difficulties in one of those droughts developing.
I mean, you play great defense and you can't make a shot. That gets discouraging after a while.
But Bryant does make the shot. 10 points for Kobe.
See, Kobe knows that when Bowen's not in the game, he can score whenever he wants to. That's that old feeling, I know I can score, you know I can score, yes. And you know I can score. That's problems.
And here's that beautiful defensive play. The hustle by Famar to reject Udoka from behind.
The 2008 Western Conference Finals on TNT. Brought to you by the Hyundai Sonata, 2009sonata.com, and by Yellow Book and yellowbook.com. Say yellow to the future.
Well, it's time for Looking Good Today, sponsored by Dockers. And in Game 1, Kobe Bryant certainly fit the bill. Bryant for the saw.
I knew I could make a push, and once I made that push, I felt like it get energized just a little bit.
Oh, what a move.
Guard that. This guy's unbelievable.
It's a big win for us nonetheless. I mean, Western Conference Finals.
Kobe with 25 of his 27 points in the second half. In fact, outscored San Antonio in the fourth quarter as the Lakers came from way back down by as many as 20 to beat the Spurs 89-85. Log on to TNT Overtime at NBA.com for more Dockers Looking Good performances.
You know, he had an interesting comment after that game, Harvey. He said, you know, I knew we were down 20, but it didn't feel like we were down 20. And I thought it was interesting. He said, I've been in games where when you're down 20, you feel like it. He said, in that game, it just did not feel that way. And he became sort of a prophet with the finish.
This after his coach, Phil Jackson, told Craig Sager that he felt that Kobe was not in the triangle. He was in the Bermuda Triangle. Nice move by Parker. San Antonio only 2 points over the last 3.5 minutes prior to that bucket by Parker. Spurs not shooting well, but as Gasol had the step and could not convert. But San Antonio down by just 3. As we come up on 5 minutes to go in this first half. Gasol playing with 2 fouls. Duncan shoots over him. Try to go glass.
That's a shot Greg Popovich said he's going to have to make tonight. That angled bank shot rather than try to back in or try to drive where the Lakers are just swarming him.
Miscommunication between Bryant and Gasol.
This is the great matchup between Kobe and Bowen, and Bowen wants to make him a jump shooter. Try not to let him get to the basket, get to the free throw line. Here he drives inside, gets a little shot to the jaw, and again, this one here is the dunk, the little backdoor play. But when you play against these kind of guys, you got to be able to take punishment and dish punishment out, and that's why they both respect each other so much. They're both the ultimate competitors.
Duncan going at Gasol. He's trying to pick up number 3 on Powell. And it's deflected out. Last touch by the Lakers. Greg Popovich has Duncan up front, along with Bowen and Finley, Ginobili, and Parker at the guards.
See, Manu Ginobili, I mean, here he is tonight, deep into this game. He still has not scored a point. 0 of 3. They're hoping to bring him off the bench to get a little life. That has not happened.
Duncan with the rebound. Duncan again.
Gasol's got to get his body on him. I know he's very slender, but you've got to get your body, almost face guard Tim Duncan and keep him off the boards, have somebody else get the rebound.
6 points, 11 rebounds for Duncan. Bryant, what a move as he was able to extend, but could not finish it. Walton picks it off. Parker thought he had Ginobili, did not see Walton.
That's a scouting report steal right there. Get into the passing lane. You know Parker likes to drive and look for those corners.
Crossover move by Walton. Bryant passed on the 3. Gasol off the fake. Gasol thought he was fouled. That's his first field goal. Gasol just 1 of 5 from the floor. He's been in foul trouble. He's playing with 2. Parker got the step.
So running some different action. Rather than screen and roll that time, Parker got a handoff coming from the baseline and turned the corner on Duncan. So you make your adjustments, understanding what the Lakers are doing with your screen roll defense to still try to get your guards in the lane off different action.
Tony Parker, 11 points, 9 have come here in the second quarter. Bryant for 3. 13 points for Kobe. He's hit on 6 of 10 from the floor.
But see, he's got 13 points on 10 shots, and he's not shot any free throws. So Bowen's doing a good job with him on that. He's making him take shots to get his points. That's what you have to do.
And that's exactly what Greg Popovich wanted to do. Oh, there's that angle bank shot by Tim Duncan. Pop saying he did not want to see Kobe Bryant on the line, as we saw during the course of that series with Utah.
Well, you know, Bowen's competitive energy is, I want to get up and I want to get tight on him on the perimeter, and then he beats you on the drive or gets to the foul line. I mean, you get a hand up in the face, you force a guy to knock down a three, and you can live with that. And then this is a great player making a great shot off the backboard. That's what stars do, and that's why their teams are in the Western Conference Finals.
Just under 3 to go in this first half, and the Lakers have a 37-35 lead on the Spurs. As we check the crowd, there's Jack in his customary courtside seat. Denzel Washington, a regular here at Staples. Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone to our left. Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire. David and Victoria, second. Hush Spice in the house, Doug, and Bill Engvall.
That guy's very funny.
Yes, I knew you were going to mention that. The Bill Engvall Show, and this June, show is back. Catch all new episodes of the True Family Comedy June 12th at 9.
Very funny, Mark.
Right.
Very, very funny.
You did mention that. There's Bryant again for 3. Rebounded by Ginobili.
No, Mark, doesn't feel like that the Lakers should be up about 10 or 12 points in this game. It's only a 2-point game right now. I mean, the Spurs, I think, have been outplayed in this first half. With a good 2 minutes here, they could go in with the lead.
Duncan, he's tied the game. San Antonio shooting only 38%, but the game is tied. Lakers have led right from the start. Bryant goes behind the back. Bowen able to stay with him. Now Bryant with a beautiful setup. On the handoff to Pau Gasol.
That's why they want Bryant to be a jump shooter. He either gets to the foul line or scores or gets others involved when he gets that kind of penetrating drive.
Parker on the spin. Rebounded by Odom.
Boy, Fisher just punished Oberto on that screen. He is a tough guard, I tell you.
Bryant has to give it up. Vujacic passed on a 3 and knocks down the 2-pointer.
That's a nice job, though. Ginobili ran him off the 3, and you teach a guy, you call that an escape dribble. Escape the defender, pull up, and knock that jump shot. A nice play by Vujacic.
Lakers have a 41-37 advantage. Shot clock to 5. There's Parker. That was a wide open shot.
Boy, Tony Parker's been way off tonight on that jump shot. He's had 2 or 3 shots and hasn't been close.
Fisher tries to elude Parker, stays with him. Vujacic for 3. Oh, he is feeling it. He is 3 for 3 from the field. He has 7 points. The Laker lead extends to 7.
Marv, always talk about closing quarters. It's been L.A.
Oberto not able to hit. Here comes Fisher. Ginobili looked to cut him off to bother him. Derek Fisher on the break as Ginobili ends up in the second row, back behind the baseline.
Or you just talk about finishing quarters. Looked like the Spurs were going to be close, and a 9-0 run here by the Lakers.
Just a moment ago, this game was tied at 37. It's a 2-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Foul given by Fisher. Both teams fouls to give.
Well, we talked about Derek Fisher and Lamar Odom, how important it would be for them to bounce back after the 4 for 21 combined game 1. Well, tonight Fisher has been terrific. He has 9 points. Odom has 7, so they have 16 points. They had 12 the other night. And in the playoffs combined, they've been averaging over 26 points. So these guys have bounced back, and Look at this Laker defense, 37 points, Marv. They're a very underrated defensive team. Everybody talks about how many points they score, but their opponents in the playoffs are shooting 43%. Their opponents are shooting 30% from the three-point line. They're averaging almost 8 steals and almost 7 blocks a night. So this team has been playing great defense in the playoffs.
Phil Jackson pulls out Pau Gasol and sends on Ronny Turiaf. He's defending on Tim Duncan. Final seconds of the half. Duncan is fouled. Fisher tried to slap the ball away, and the Lakers are over the limit.
That's a veteran move by Tim Duncan. He brings the ball down low and baits Derek Fisher to try to reach in, and then he drags his arm right through Derek Fisher and gets the foul. That's a nice play by Tim Duncan. I know Fisher didn't like it, but that's a veteran play.
Duncan missed his first 2 at the line. 73% during the regular season. Had a 6 for 6 against the Hornets in that game 7. The other night, just 6 for 10. Coming up, it's the T-Mobile halftime report. Ernie, Charles, Kenny, and Magic. We'll take a look back at this first half. Highlights from this first half with the Lakers pulling away in the last minute and a half after the Spurs were able to tie the game. Tim Duncan and Tony Parker, the only Spurs to score the last, 9 minutes? Is that correct? Our statistician Paul Evans saying the last 9 minutes they scored the last 12 points for San Antonio.
Well, they have 10 of these 16 field goals. They are 10 of 23. The rest of the team is 6 for 22.
Duncan off the rebound, not able to hit. He thought he was fouled. That's the end of the first half. Strong finish by the Lakers. And 46 to 37. Another look at that last missed free throw by Duncan, and the question is, was he fouled by Bryant?
See, those are 2 big free throws missed, Marv. It happened in the fourth quarter the other night when the Spurs were in the lead. He missed a couple free throws. You got a chance to stop the bleeding there. Instead, you go in on a downer, missing 2 free throws.
And Doug, a different story for Kobe Bryant in the first half tonight, following the 1 for 3 in game 1. 6 of 11 from the field. He had 13 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. And Kobe's with Craig.
Well, Kobe, there's about a minute and a half to go in that half. The score was tied at 37. Doug Collins says, don't you feel like the Lakers should be up by about 10 or 12? Well, now it is a 9-point game, but you think it should be even further ahead?
Oh, we made a couple of defensive errors, leaving 3-point shooters. Ball one time, Ime another time, Finley in transition. Now, those are plays that we have to try to avoid.
In game 1, you changed shoes at intermission, then came out and scored 25 of your 27 points. Are you going to change shoes here, and what can we expect from you in the second half?
No, I'll stay in the Mambas.
That means you'll be out to strike on the offensive end.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll take a short break here. We'll come back with the T-Mobile halftime report. Ernie, Kenny, Charles will be joined by Magic live from the Staples Center right after this.
Back at Staples Center in Los Angeles, Lakers with a 46-37 lead on the Spurs as we head to the second half. While we have a moment, we'd like to thank all the men and women serving abroad who are watching tonight's telecast of the Western Conference Finals on the American Forces Network. Marv Albert along with Doug Collins and Craig Sager. And Doug, you look back at this first half, the game was tied at 37 in the final minutes, and then the Lakers reel off 9 consecutive points. And from San Antonio's viewpoint, Greg Popovich was hoping to get a lift from Manu Ginobili. In fact, had him coming off the bench rather than play right at the start. He had Michael Finley in the starting lineup. But again, Manu has been struggling.
You know, it's a combination of the Lakers playing terrific defense, and also he's struggling, Marv. He's struggling with that jammed ankle, and when he doesn't have his speed and his quickness and he can't get in the paint, his game is so diminished. And you can see tonight, 0 of 3. I mean, he's now 3 of 16 in this series. He's got more turnovers tonight, six total in the game and a half, and that's not Manu Ginobili. That's not the guy who was one of the better players in the NBA all season long, and it's a shame that it's happening right now to the Spurs at the most inopportune time in their season.
Let's take a look at tonight's Dodge game summary. San Antonio at 35%, just 16 of 46 shooting, and the Lakers at 54%. They've hit 19 of 35. Lakers doing it at the foul line, 6 of 7. Again, San Antonio having problems at the line, just 2 of 7. Laker bench outscoring the Spurs bench 11-5. And the result, Lakers by 9 as we get ready for the start of play in the third quarter. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, Greg Popovich decided to go with the same starting 5 that started the game. As for Manu Ginobili, we will see him come off the bench here in the third quarter. He does want to play despite that jammed ankle, but Popovich does not know what he's going to get out of him. Apparently, if he goes in and is not effective, we may see him come out of the game right away, shut down, and rest for game 3.
All right, Craig, Manu playing with the jammed left ankle, and also, as we mentioned earlier in the series against the Hornets, he ripped a nail on his finger on his shooting hand, and an acrylic cover is protecting it. Spurs have had all kinds of trouble away from home in the third quarter. Their best third quarter, although they did not shoot well, was Game 7 in New Orleans when they outscored the Hornets 20-12.
Well, when you look at the third quarter the other night, Marvin, Game 1, you'd say, well, the Lakers only outscored them 22-21. But at one point in time, they were up 20, so they cut that lead from 20-7 going into the fourth quarter, made it a more working margin. But, Marv, I'm thinking Parker and Duncan, they've got to be the two guys. They got to take 20, 25 shots each in this game. I mean, Duncan has got to go to work inside against the Lakers. He can score any time he wants to in there as Finley starts out with the jump shot. But Duncan has got to go to work inside and throw up a 30-point night.
And Michael Finley has shown some signs. 3 of 7 now. He has 8 points. Here is Gasol. Rebounded by Duncan. Now Gasol has not been able to get into it. 2 of 7 from the field. Finley. Rebound comes to Bryant.
I talked to Derek Fisher right before the half was over, or this half was starting, and he said, we've got to come out the first 5 minutes. We can't be flat like we were the other night. And I think Kobe Bryant recognizes that. Is going to go to work. He said the first 5 minutes of this quarter is going to be so important for the Lakers.
15 points for Bryant. Parker leads the Spurs with 11. Duncan has 10, along with 13 rebounds. There's Parker getting into the lane. Nice feed for Alberto.
Now, good things happen again, Marv. Anytime those Spurs guards get in the lane, you get easy baskets by Alberto. You open up the three-point shooting, and the Lakers have done a nice job closing down that paint.
Bryant again.
Feeling the game. That's what he talked about. I want to feel the game, and knowing that this first 5 minutes is so important, he's coming out looking to score.
And the word decoy has not entered into the conversation tonight when you're talking Kobe Bryant. Traveling violation on Parker.
Got to stay off that sideline if you're the Spurs guards. Those big men from the Lakers are trapping and finding it, making it so difficult for the Spurs guards to get out of the corners.
Lakers have not lost here at home since back on March 28th. As it turns out, they lost to the Memphis Grizzlies. And going back to the regular season, Lakers have won 17 of the last 20 here at home. They're 6 for 6 at home in the playoffs. Bryant on fire. It counts, and the foul committed by Bowen.
This man is so talented. You know, Marvin, in game 1, you know, maybe Michael Jordan, and I've seen it so many times, has the capability of being able to just feel the game out and then go to work and feel like he can score whenever he wants to. The hand in the face by Bowen, the foul, the three-point play opportunity. But, Marv, the ability to throw the switch and go from being passer and facilitator and getting your teammates involved to then score 25 points in the second half. That's incredible talent.
And Kobe with all 7 Laker points at the start. of this third quarter. He's hit 3 of 3 from the field. Lakers have opened up a 12-point lead. Parker. Rebound comes to Odom. Spurs get back. Fisher with a nice pass. Odom banks it. Greg Popovich wants to talk.
Well, the Lakers got Phil Jackson's halftime message. First 5 minutes, they've gotten off to a great start here. And the Spurs struggling to score, and now the Lakers in an offensive rhythm. It's going to be a tough uphill battle.
And for tonight's In the City, presented by Dodge, our all-new 2009 Dodge Journey is cruising through the streets of Los Angeles.
The 2008 Western Conference Finals on TNT. Brought to you by Heineken Premium Light. Share the good. And by BlackBerry. Connect to everything you love in life with BlackBerry.
Welcome back to beautiful LA, where the Lakers have extended their lead to 14. This season, the entire Lakers team spent time off the court, connecting with the community and their many loyal fans. Lakers players showed their appreciation for the tremendous support they received by interacting with the fans, giving hugs, sharing laughs, signing autographs, and doing so much more. The Lakers and the NBA, where caring happens. Now back to Marvin Doug.
All right, thank you, Craig. What a run here by the Lakers in the last couple of minutes of the first half. This was a tie game at 37 apiece. Since then, the Lakers have outscored the Spurs 18-4 with a 9-4 spurt to open up this third quarter. Roberto, and that shot deflected.
See, Lamar Odom is not worried about Alberto. He's coming over and sort of playing a one-man zone inside to help out Gasol.
Fisher. And this Laker onslaught continues. Here's Ginobili racing down. He gets the call, yes, and the foul. And for Manu Ginobili, his first field goal.
Marv, I want to talk a little bit about the impact of that Game 1 loss the other night as we see Fisher here pull up and knock down this jump shot. Fish has really bounced back tonight after the 1-for-9 game in Game 1. He has 11 points. And here's Ginobili finally with a finish and a chance for a three-point play. But Marv, had the Spurs won that game the other night to take back home court, Greg Popovich might have set Ginobili out tonight. I mean, you don't want to give a game away, but if you can get him 3 days rest and then go home for 2 home games, that's what that game did the other night to the Spurs, making this a must-win game.
Radmanovich on the drive. And in this type of series where you're playing every other day, it is very difficult when you have a player like Ginobili who's worn down and is playing hurt. It's difficult to get him rest time. Here's Parker getting inside. The series resumes Sunday night. It'll be Game 3 at San Antonio, starting at 8:30 Eastern Time right here on TNT. So a travel day tomorrow, Game 3 Sunday. They'll stay in San Antonio, have a day off, Game 4 Tuesday night. And Ginobili slaps it away from Odom. They got entangled. And Bennett Salvatore calling the foul. That's the second committed by Ginobili.
That's a frustration foul right there on Ginobili. It's been a struggle for him in this series, and he goes up to try to block the shot. That's a very hard foul, not a flagrant foul. Odom will go to the line and shoot 2.
Manu Ginobili had a sensational series against the Hornets, averaged 21 a game. After a terrific regular season, voted All-NBA third team, which is quite an accomplishment for a player who usually comes off the bench.
Well, you know what? When I think of Game 1 the other night, Marv, that we had in the Western Conference Finals, it reminds me of Game 1 in the first round where the Spurs did to the Phoenix Suns what the Lakers did to them the other night. It looked like the Suns had that Game 1. The Spurs came back and stole that game in double overtime 1. I didn't think the Suns ever recovered from that. Let's see if the Spurs can recover from that tough loss in Game 1.
San Antonio now down by 15. And Ken Maurer calls a foul. Offensive foul. It is on Alberto. That's his second. This is a Laker team that went 57-25 in the regular season. Best record in the West, #1 seed. They finished strong. They won 8 of the last 9 of the regular season to pass by the Hornets for top spot. In the West, the playoffs, they sweep Denver, beat Utah in 6. Odom rebounded by Duncan. Ginobili for 3. And here come the Lakers. And the Lakers became an elite team after the trade for Pau Gasol, which followed the injury suffered by Andrew Bynum. Beautiful pass from Bryant to Odom. Make it 63-46 LA. Bowen, yes.
The Lakers are swarming defensively, though every possession for the Spurs, Marv, they are having to work so hard to get open shots.
And once again, the Spurs are having their difficulties here in the third quarter. Lakers have hit 7 of 9 from the field. Gasol trying to shake off Duncan, now backs his way. And score. Only 6 points for Gasol. He sat for a while after picking up a second foul early. Lakers now shooting 60% for the game. Duncan's pass picked off. He had no angle. Bryant went down. And then it's intercepted by Duncan. Bryant felt he was fouled. Here comes Parker. Challenges Odom. And Parker hits the floor.
Yeah, it looked like he held his left leg when he went down there. You can just see the fatigue on the Spurs right now.
Odom from Bryant. And a foul.
It's almost like the Lakers have an extra gear right now. The Spurs trying so desperately to get back in the game, but the speed and the quickness of this Laker team, they're moving the ball, they're finding the open areas, everybody's involved. Spurs shooting 37% from the floor, and the Lakers 60%.
Foul committed by Duncan. Well, this July, the #1 cable series of all time returns to TNT. Get a Confession with Kira Sedgwick as the closer. Watch new episodes beginning this July on TNT. We know drama.
You know, you talk about, Marv, the travel, that it's a travel day tomorrow and then a game on Sunday. The Spurs fly out of here tonight. It's a 2-hour time difference. What is it, about a 3-hour flight? So what are they going to get home about 3 o'clock in the morning? So you think you've got a day between games, but you're getting in at the crack of dawn, and all of a sudden now you're trying to recover and now come out and play. That's how this schedule, I think, so benefits the Lakers. They're the younger team. They have not expended as much energy during the course of the playoffs. They've swept Denver, got rid of Utah in 6, had 4 days rest. So this schedule, to me, really favors the Los Angeles Lakers.
And it should be pointed out the Spurs will not be using the same plane that was supposed to bring them from New Orleans to LA. Away from the ball, a foul against the Lakers. It is on Radmanovic. So that's 2 on Radmanovic. Second team foul on the Lakers. Greg Popovich staying with Parker and Ginobili in the backcourt. Duncan with Bowen and now Ori up front. Here is Ginobili, a hard drive. It counts in the foul.
That's vintage Manu Ginobili there. You know, Marv, as that play was ready to develop, I'm saying there's no way in the world that Vlade Romanovich can play at Ginobili if Ginobili's healthy. This time he jab steps him, gets to the baseline, and these are those corkscrew shots, those moves around the basket that he's so known for. And that to me was the most assertive move that he's made this entire series.
Foul on Gasol, that's his third. Lakers up by 15. They've led by as many as 18. Odom, yes.
Well, Fisher and Odom, they have really bounced back tonight. Those two guys now combined for 27 points after 4 for 21 in game one, 12 points. So you put that with Kobe Bryant and the rest of this Laker team, and that's why they are up here, Marv, 68-53. And again, the Spurs working so hard on every possession.
Tim Duncan with the bucket. He's only 6 of 14. He has 12 points. Another big rebounding number, 15 for Duncan. Bryant, it's a rare miss for the Lakers in this third quarter. Here comes Parker with Fisher back. Parker was looking for the opening. Again, the Lakers able to close things up in the paint. Here's Parker. Odom with the block.
Great weak side help, but again, he's not worried about playing Robert Horry. Robert Horry's not shooting the ball well until he makes shots. Lamar Odom's just going to roam.
And the ball back to San Antonio. Coming up on 4 minutes to go in this third quarter.
It's also hard for a guy like Bruce Bowen to play in a game like this. When you get behind, he's so out there for his defense. And when you get behind like that, you need offensive guys, but somebody's got to guard Kobe Bryant. That's why they've got to stay close so that Bowen can be effective.
Gasol right up on Duncan. Here's Horry, rejected. But a tough night for Robert Horry. He's missed all 4 of his shot attempts.
Now, Lamar Odom's everywhere. We've seen him come over and get a block on Tony Parker from the weak side. This time he helps on Duncan in the middle and recovers and still gets back and blocks the shot. Lamar Odom has been terrific tonight on both ends.
And it's a 24-second violation. Odom with 3 blocks all in this third quarter. Just under 4 minutes to play in the third. The Laker lead is now 15.
Well, the Lakers have come out here after finishing strong in the first half. Kobe Bryant with a hanging drive. Derek Fisher with a sweet jump shot. And his partner Lamar Odom with the dunk. The bench loves it. But all Lakers here in the third quarter up by 15.
Make some magic happen.
Yes, Rony Turiaf enjoying himself with Sasha Vujacic providing the entertainment. Remember at the start of the season, Sasha referred to himself as the machine. The only problem was at the time he was only hitting shots in practice, and his teammates said, "You got to be kidding me." Now they do respect him as the machine because he's been hitting those shots during games, and that began in the regular season.
And more importantly with that, Marv, he's also playing good defense, and his teammates can now trust him. He's a very free-spirited guy, and that's okay as long as your teammates can trust you when it counts.
Sasha very fortunate to recapture as Jacques Water just came on, got a piece of it. As you saw, feeling for Duncan. Nice backdoor pass, but Vujacic could not finish. The Lakers with a 68-53 lead. Just under 3.5 to play in this third quarter. Marv Albert with Doug Collins and Craig Sager. It's game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Lakers trying to go up 2-zip. Bowen for 3. Yes.
You can see what Greg Popovich has done. He's come in now with Jacques Vaughn. He's going to get up now that Farmar's in the game, pressure a little bit, hopefully buy some minutes for Tony Parker. And if they can get this under single digits, maybe you got to rest at Tony Parker. You can make a little bit of a run in the fourth.
Ori defending on Odom, and that's an offensive foul. That was well played by Ori.
The one thing the Lakers don't want to do is lose their focus. See the replay there, and Robert Ori read the play nicely. He knows that Odom is a lefty. He gets over on that left hand, but you don't want to lose your focus here and let the Spurs back in this game.
Nice ball fake by Ginobili, and then it's deflected out. Last touched by the Spurs. But Mato very active here in the third quarter.
Yeah, he's much better in this third quarter than he was to start the game tonight. I don't know if that ankle's loosening a little bit or if he's just absolutely saying, you know what, it doesn't matter. I'm going to throw myself around.
Foul committed by Vaughn. Vaughn making contact with Farmar. Gasol, Odom, Bryant up front. Farmar, Vujacic in the backcourt. Bowen coming over to help, and the steal, but a foul. It is on Duncan.
When you play in that triangle offense, your big man has to be a guy who can post and be a good passer and read cutters. And Gasol does that very well. That's why he's been able to make this smooth transition into this offense, because it's built for a big man who can catch that ball in the post and not only score, but find the cutters out of that triangle and make nice passes, and Gasol does a nice job with that.
That foul puts San Antonio over the foul limit. National coverage of the NBA playoffs continues tomorrow on ABC Game 3 of the Celtics and the Pistons starting at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Series all tied at 1. Last night, Rip Hamilton bouncing back from that subpar Game 1, putting up 25 points. Chauncey Billups also with a turnaround in his second game back. Sunday here on TNT, Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals, Lakers and Spurs, with coverage beginning 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And then Monday on ESPN, Game 4 of the Celtics and the Pistons. Ginobili looking to post. Shot clock to 5. Defensive 3-second violation is called, and the basket will not count.
That's that one-man zone that I was talking about. The Lamar Odom's on the weak side of the floor, and what he's doing is hedging to the middle. He wants Gasol to turn Duncan that way, and he will step up then and make a late trap on him in the lane and force Duncan to make a play over two big guys.
Ginobili shoots the technical, an 86% free throw shooter.
So the end of this quarter is important for the Lakers and the Spurs, but for the Lakers, you look at it, they would like to have a nice cushion to rest Kobe. Remember the other night they didn't rest him the normal 4 minutes they do to start the fourth period because they were behind. The Spurs would like to cut into the lead, so when he rests, maybe they can even push into it more.
Yes, Phil Jackson changing the rotation. Odom with a nice box out. The Laker lead is 13. Vujacic fires a 3. Kept alive by Odom. Bryant backs to three-point territory. Minute and a half left in the third quarter. Nice fake by Ginobili. Gives it back to Ori for 3.
Not even close.
Gasol protects from Ginobili.
Now you've got Farmar out on the floor roaming off of Jacques Vaughn to help in the post, and you've got Lamar Odom. So basically the Spurs are playing 3-on-5.
Odom changed his mind. Gasol. Yes. So Pau Gasol with 10 points. Ginobili with 7 points, all here in the third. Vaughn. And that's the shot the Lakers want to see.
A long two-point shot is exactly the shot the Lakers want to see.
Gasol to Odom. Wasn't pretty, but he did get the ball on a hop to Lamar Odom, who now has 18 points, 11 of the 18 in this third quarter.
This is Lamar Odom that we saw against Utah. He struggled against Denver, had a brilliant series against the Utah Jazz where his quickness really bothered Boozer and Okoro.
Just a fraction of a second differential here between the game clock and shot clock. Ginobili. Gasol is looking to draw attention, thought he was fouled, but that's the end of the third quarter. Here at Staples, the Lakers pulled away. They lead 74-57. Craig Sager with Phil Jackson in a moment.
Welcome back to the Staples Center, where the Lakers are shooting nearly 60%, and they extended their lead now to 17 going into the fourth quarter. And Coach, it was 37-all at 1 point, but the offense has been terrific since then. What's been the difference?
We had a momentum change at the end of the first half. Got a little bust, got some separation. You know, they came back out with some renewed vigor after we got going in the third quarter, and we're able to match it, was very important. Because I thought they stepped it up and looked like they were really playing hard. We're fortunate to get out of that quarter with that lead.
Although you won game one, Lamar Odom was disappointed in his performance. Tonight he's been terrific with 18 points, 12 rebounds. How is his game different tonight?
He's more aggressive. I think he's taking the ball in the basket with more authority. I thought he was shooting layups last game, kind of get a foul, trying to make the foul happen. Didn't happen.
All right, thanks a lot. Now let's go back to Marvin Doug.
All right, thank you, Craig. Fourth quarter getting underway. Lakers in possession. Here is Turiaf, who just checked back in. And again, you can see another poor road third quarter by the Spurs. Outscored 28-20. And the Lakers went on that 20-4 run for the final minutes of the first half. Craig Sager and Phil Jackson talking about that a moment ago. That following the 37 all-time. Here is Udoka, just came back on, rebounded by Turiaf.
We talked about the end of the third quarter. San Antonio cut the lead to 12. They had no field goals that last 3 minutes when the Lakers pushed it back to 17.
Odom posting on Udoka.
Just a mismatch. He's just not big enough. He's got strength. We saw Odom the other night against Michael Finley down in the post. He tied the game on a play like that. So Lamar Odom, a nightmare matchup for the Spurs.
Udoka about 6'5", and Odom at 6'10". Odom now 20 points. Udoka open for three. 76-60 Lakers. Trying to make a 2 out of 2 here at home following that sensational comeback, down by as many as 20, beating the Spurs in game one. Here's Farmar getting inside. In fact, that was the greatest Lakers postseason comeback since they were down by 20 in the second quarter, game 4 of the Western Conference Finals, and then beat Sacramento on Robert Horry's buzzer-beating three. It is deflected out. Last touch by the Spurs.
The Lakers are just one step quicker in every phase of the game tonight, whether it be getting to the boards, getting in passing lanes. They're crisper with their offense. And you could see that rest has paid dividends for them. They were a little bit, they were fresh but flat, I thought, in game one. Tonight they have a great edge.
And that was a concern back in game one of Phil Jackson. Did not have the edge in the first half, but then certainly turned it up in the second half. Here's Walton from downtown. Rebounded by Udoka. Let's check in with Craig.
Marv, you're talking about that comeback, the biggest one since the one 4 years ago against Sacramento. I talked to Derek Fisher. He said actually he thought this one was even bigger because that team, he said, was a championship team that knew they could come back from deficits like this. He thought that this was a bigger one. After a big three by Farmar because it taught him something, as Ernie Johnson alluded to at halftime. According to Derek Fisher, this team now can feel like they have a little hair in their chest, and yes, they too can win it all this year and be a championship team.
And this now a very loose Laker team. They've extended to a 21-point lead early in this fourth quarter. Udoka rejected by Turiaf, and here comes Farmar. Vujacic from the angle. Rebounded by Turiaf.
I think you're getting ready to see Greg Popovich start getting ready for Game 3 here tonight. Damon Stoudemire coming in. I'm sure Tony Parker is going to go to the bench. I got to hope that they can get some rest and find some answers back in San Antonio. It's been all LA here tonight.
Back at Staples, 3 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Lakers have jumped in front now by 21. A misty night here in Southern California. Once again, our cameras checking out the crowd. There's Hall of Famer Frank Robinson. Another Hall of Famer, Dave Winfield. And Flea of the Red Hot Chili Peppers is on hand for Game 1. There's Paula Abdul, one-time Laker girl. And this is Tony Parker, Eva Longoria, telling her friend, this is not going well.
Yeah, this is not what we bargained for when we came to LA for these 2 games, but the Spurs have to bank on the fact they've been much better at home, averaging over 100-something points a game at home in the playoffs, where they are 6-0, and they're going to need some home cooking against this Laker team that's playing with great confidence and energy.
Damon Stoudemire, who just came on, has not played much in the playoffs. And it is well, looked like it was going to be a 24-second violation. Just did hit the rim. Stoudemire, rebound is captured by Walton. The Spurs at home during the regular season won 34 of 41 games, tied for second best home record in the West. Utah had the best. They won 37 of 41. Kobe Bryant is back, going the jab step and then hits.
It's curious. Normally Phil Jackson would not put him back in a game with a 23-point lead. Let's see how long Kobe plays out there in this game with this 23-point lead in the fourth quarter.
And Greg Popovich has emptied the bench. He has Stoudemire and Barry at the guards. Barry lost it. Here's Vujacic, give and go with Farmar, and that'll count. It's a goaltend.
This is what they've done in the playoffs, Marvin. Well, look at the difference at home. They average 15 more points a game at home. Look at the opponent's points. Look at the shooting. They've really struggled on the road in the playoffs. They're going to be in 2-6 after tonight. And they are going to have to find a way to get home and get refreshed in a hurry.
And a different philosophy shown here tonight by Kobe Bryant, who came out shooting. Farmar, who has been on fire. He now has 12 points, 10 of the 12 here in the fourth quarter as he knocked down a 3.
What a difference a series makes for Farmar. Against Denver, he got discouraged against Allen Iverson, who was going at him on the dribble as Stoudemire misses the jumper. Against Utah, Darren Williams went at him, really struggled. The last couple games of that series played better, played very well the first 2 games here in the Western Conference Finals.
Vujacic for 3, rebounded by Walton. Looking to keep it alive, cannot. Udoka with the lead for Barry. 88-62 Lakers.
This is when you're the Spurs and you just want to have a running clock the rest of the game. Just keep the clock moving and get out of here. There's some long faces over on that Spurs bench, Marv. Remember now, this is the defending champions. This is a very proud group of men. And you see the look of determination on Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and Ginobili. I mean, these guys aren't going to go away easily. And it's going to be an interesting Game 3 in San Antonio.
San Antonio team trying to do it back-to-back for the first time. They win 56 games in the regular season. Their 9th straight 50-plus win season. They've won 4 titles the last 9 years. Walton not able to hit. Stoudemire on it. Damon Stoudemire signed during the course of the regular season as a free agent. Here's Vaughn. Nowhere to go and lost it.
I think they were hoping when they signed Damon Stoudemire, one thing they like out of their point guard is the ability to make shots with all those double teams that you see and all the penetrations of Ginobili and Parker. And Damon Stoudemire just has not found his way here with the San Antonio team.
Started the season with Memphis, originally a first-round pick of Toronto. Rookie of the year with the Raptors. Spent some time with Portland, then Memphis, now San Antonio. And a foul is called on Barry. Just under 6 to go in this fourth quarter. It has been all Lakers. They are up 88-62, headed to the 2-0 lead in this best-of-7 Western Conference Final.
The 2008 Western Conference Finals on TNT, brought to you by Yellow Book and YellowBook.com. Find what you're really looking for. To learn more, call 1-800-YB-YELLOW or visit YellowBook.com. By the United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. By Gatorade, every game needs a hero. Is it in you? And by DirecTV. Get over 90 of the best channels in HD now.
Let's take a look at our Bud Light Lime around the league. Last night, the Pistons evened up their Eastern Conference Finals series with the Celtics at a game apiece with the 103-97 win. Chauncey Billups finishing with 19 points. Rip Hamilton with 25 for the Celtics. Their first loss at home since late March. And now they have to win on the road.
Yeah, the security blanket is gone now. The fact that you say you don't have to win on the road, now you do. So now we're going to see under pressure that Boston Celtic team that was so great on the road all season long. Can they find a win in the Palace? If not, Detroit will move on.
Vujacic off the mark. Trevor Ariza has checked in. He has made his return, making it back from a broken bone in his right foot. Here's Barry open for three. And it's kept alive by Vaughn, but he got hit, looks like, in the eye. And a reach-in foul is called on Vujacic.
One of my keys to the game was same script, different ending. Well, tonight, Marv, if you go back to game one, when the Spurs were up 20, they were outscored 44-20 in the last 17-plus minutes of that game. Tonight, in the last 20-plus minutes, since the game was tied, they've been outscored 51-25.
Udoka getting it to Thomas. We come up on 5 minutes to play in this fourth quarter. Trevor Ariza suffered that broken foot in a practice in late January and hits on his first attempt.
This is good minutes for Ariza. Phil Jackson can get him out there now, get him back to playing. So if they need him in San Antonio to guard Ginobili, or they even talked about maybe playing him on Parker, using a bigger guy on Tony Parker if they need him. That's why these minutes are big for Ariza.
Shot clock to 5. Down to 2. Stoudemire. And here's the long pass intended for Turiaf. Stoudemire looking like a defensive back, able to haul it in. Barry for 3. Yes. But we have hit garbage time. In fact, we have been in this particular sequence for some time in the second half. The San Antonio Spurs, as Walton tried to get it to Ariza off that lob. The Spurs are certainly looking forward to making the return back to the River City, where, as we mentioned, they were very successful at home during the regular season at 34-7. We will have Game 3 from San Antonio Sunday night. Right here, TNT, 8:30 Eastern Time. Barry looked to make a move on Vujacic. And a foul is called on Barry. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, Marv, you keep mentioning how the Spurs can't wait to get home, and yes, you are right. They will not be flying that plane that brought them here. They had the mechanical problems where they spent 11 hours on the tarmac. In fact, that 737 has been grounded for good. The carrier who brought them here, Champions Air, is going out of business at the end of the month, and they'll be flying home thanks to Donnie Walsh, the new president of the New York Knicks. He has sent their team chartered plane here to pick up the Spurs, take them home, and he said you guys can have it for the rest of the series. So Donnie renewing friendships in his new position. Mark?
Trying to finagle for a trade,
Exactly.
Donnie Walsh or something. You know, it's like these guys, there's always, Donnie's a great guy, but We have to keep our eye on the offseason. Any moves between the Spurs and the Knicks.
We're coming up on 3 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Another Spurs turnover. Here's Farmar trying to get it to Ariza, but broken up by Barry, and then batted out of bounds.
You know, the one thing if you're the Lakers, you don't want to start making all these circus plays and things like that. I mean, they've won this game. You don't want to rub San Antonio's nose into it any more than it is tonight. You want to make this game and play it the right way to finish. There's still a lot of games to be played in this series, Marv.
And the Spurs also will look back at the series against the New Orleans Hornets, where they lost the first 2 games in New Orleans, and then were able to come back to win that set in 7.
Well, we're going to find out Sunday night. Is this going to be a series, or are the Lakers that much better than the Spurs right now? That's going to be a very interesting game.
Thomas on the foul, grabbing Turiaf. We're down to 2:39 remaining in this fourth quarter. It is a Laker blowout over the Spurs. All right, Doug, time now for the U.S. Army strong performance of the night.
And Derek Fisher and Lamar Odom, 2 of the guys we talked about coming off very subpar games. Fisher with that little pull-up jumper. Odom has been everywhere. He's been slashing, cutting, blocking shots, doing it all on both ends. And it's the hanging drive over Tim Duncan. And these 2 guys have been terrific tonight, Mark. 20 points for Lamar Odom, Fisher with 11. So 31 points tonight after a very quiet 12 points combined in game 1, where they were 4 for 21.
For more U.S. Army strong performances, log on to TNT Overtime at NBA.com. Lakers are shooting 54% for the game. The Spurs only 34% shooting, 28 of 82. I did enjoy the moment at halftime where we walked back to, as they say, the green room, our production headquarters, and we happened to pass a group of the Spurs coaches, and I hear Greg Popovich yell out to you as you pass by, Doug, we need a shooter. Are you available?
I told him, I said, Pop, you wouldn't like me. I didn't guard, and when I was healthy, I sure can't guard now. And he said, well, if you can make a shot, we'll take you. So that's how frustrating it's been for Greg Popovich. We look at these shooting numbers tonight, 34%, 6 of 20 from the three-point line. That's a follow-up of 5 for 20, so they're 11 for 40 from the three-point line. It's just been a tough time here for the Spurs. And if you look at the second half of game 1, they scored 34 points. Here tonight in the second half, they have 30. I mean, so it has been a struggle for them. And as the game has gone on, they have worn down and the Lakers have gotten stronger.
DJ Benga has come on for the Lakers, replacing Rony Turiaf. So both teams using the entire roster. Ariza with the rebound. Trevor Ariza making his return. He was acquired from the Magic in that deal for Brian Cook and Maurice Evans. Phil Jackson really likes his defensive skills. Thomas poking it away from Benga.
Benga says, come get the ball. This is not my game here in the post.
Shot clock down to 4 and a foul. It is on Vaughn. San Antonio over the foul limit. Let's revisit tonight's Collins Keys, presented by Heineken Light.
Well, Mark, we said same script, different ending for the Spurs. That has not been the case. We talked about the disastrous ending tonight. It's been 55-30 since it was tied. Ginobili, they were hoping for an energy surge off the bench. That did not happen. Kobe feeling the game. Came out in that third quarter, recognizing they wanted to get off a good start. They did, 9-4 start. A lot of that because of Kobe. And then we talked about the brilliant bounce back of Odom and Fisher tonight. Those guys combined and what they did here tonight. So this has been since the 37-all mark of the first half, it's been LA dominance all the way.
It's been a perfect game for the Lakers.
And you know what? The Spurs almost have to play a perfect game to beat them because they have no margin of error, Mark. When you struggle to score, you can play great defense, as we see Vaughn here with the knockdown jump shot. But when you put so much pressure on your defense, the whole team's down like they do against the Lakers, it takes so much out of your offensive game to try to make shots.
If you're Phil Jackson, can you find anything that you're unhappy with in this kind of performance?
you know what, it would be hard. And, you know, Phil is obviously a guy who's won 9 championships, so he'll know exactly what buttons to push as Benga knocks down the jump shot. But Phil is a master at knowing what to do with his team, and he likes to take those video clips and put them into the movies and the films to keep his team's attention. So it'll be interesting to see what he will have prepared before Game 3.
Kobe Bryant, a solid performance, 22 points, 10 of 17, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. You mentioned Lamar Odom, 20 points, 12 rebounds, 4 block shots. Fisher, 11 points on 4 of 5 as Kurt Thomas is able to hit. Pau Gasol got off slowly after picking up the 2 early fouls, but he finishes up with 10 points, 7 rebounds. Not much to say about the Spurs. Tony Parker, 13 points, 4 assists. Tim Duncan had 12 points, 16 rebounds, taking only 1 shot in the second half. Let's check in with Craig Sager.
Well, Marv, you're talking about this being a perfect game for the Lakers. We documented the comeback from 20 points the other night in the first game of the series, but this will be the 3rd time in the last 4 playoff games for the Lakers that they have led from start to finish. Never trailed in 3 of the last 4 playoff games, a stat that's pretty unheard of in the playoffs.
97-71 is the end result of that. As time is running out as the Spurs and Lakers look to Game 3 in the Alamo City on Sunday night here on TNT, 8:30 start Eastern Time. I'd like to thank our producer, Scooter Bertino, director Renato Lowe, associate directors Rodney Vaughn and Tom Heitz, production assistants Jeff Parrish and Darrell Bernardo, statistician Paul Evans, and thanks to our entire crew there. Usual great job. Final seconds. And that's a 3-pointer for Luke Walton. 101-71. That's the final.
Marv, as we go to San Antonio for the Spurs to score and be able to get to 95 points, if Parker, Duncan, and Ginobili don't get 65-70, I don't know that there's another 30-35 points out there off that team. So it's going to be very interesting to see if those 3 guys can go home and throw up some big numbers to get this series back to 2-1.
Many stars for the Lakers tonight, but the man who turned it around, a bounce-back performance for Lamar Odom, and he's with Craig Sager.
Well, Lamar, we talked about your Game 1 performance, even though you won. 6 points, 8 rebounds in 35 minutes tonight. 20 points, 12 rebounds, 4 blocks. What was the difference for you?
I changed my sneakers, changed my spandex, my undershirt, and just brought my focus. I wanted to come out and have a good game. I was aggressive in the beginning. I still made a few mistakes, but I was able to correct them as the game went along.
What is this with the Lakers changing sneakers at halftime of Game 1? Kobe did. Now you did here tonight.
I mean, we got a couple of guys that are superstitious. I wanted something light, something I could still cut in and make moves, and I got my Kobe's on today, so I guess it helped me.
With Bruce Bowen spending so much time, he's their best perimeter defender on Kobe. Tim Duncan obviously being consumed trying to guard Pau Gasol. Doug Collins mentioned that this is a matchup that the Spurs really have no answer for, that you should be able to exploit them for the rest of the series.
Well, I try to take these guys off the dribble, the same thing I did in the Utah series with Bulls on their call on me, try to get to the rim. I thought I could have did a better job by getting to the rim and making plays for Pau. He had a slow start, but as the game went along, I was able to finish, rebound the basketball, go to the free throw line, and I just stayed aggressive as possible.
Do you sense that the Spurs maybe are not an old team, but maybe a tired team?
Not at all. We have to go on their home court, play the same way, and hopefully we can come out here with a 1 or 2.
All right, thanks a lot. Let's go back to Marvin Doug.
All right, thank you, Craig. Lamar Odom with 11 of his 20 points in the 3rd quarter when the Lakers were able to blow this game wide open. And here at Staples, as the crowd files out, the home team, the Los Angeles Lakers, have jumped in front in this best of 7, 2-0 over the defending champion, San Antonio Spurs. They do it by 30. Again, the final score, the Lakers 101, the Spurs 71. Join us Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll have coverage of Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals between the Lakers and the Spurs. And coming up following a quick break, we'll return to Staples Center with Emmy Award-winning Inside the NBA, Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Magic will do the honors. So for Craig Sager and Doug Collins, I'm Marv Albert saying good night from Southern California.